In the first scene, we see a girl jogging through the forest. At the same time we see shots of a party at a nightclub. Now on the shore, the girl has stumbled upon a body. Beth threw a surprise party for her husband Tom in honor of his 40th birthday. Tom, being a doctor, often works late. He was very pleased. All their relatives, close friends and colleagues were invited to the party. The guests spent time in leisurely conversations, drinking and having fun. Beth made sure the party was perfect. In high society, reputation is everything. Meanwhile at the police department, Detective Alina Edgeworth had taken charge of the investigation into the woman whose body was found on the beach. Simultaneously we see a man hurriedly burning someone's belongings. The police were already on their way. At the party, the guests discussed how Katie, who worked at Tom's clinic, had been found lifeless. A month ago another woman, Allison Mayhew, had also disappeared. She was last seen at the same beach. Some believe a serial criminal is at large in this area. But not everyone agrees, because Katie had many boyfriends and often behaved inappropriately. Beth mentioned that Katie had quit Tom's clinic a long time ago. Tom had told her so himself. Next we see the same man who took emerald earrings from someone's wallet before continuing to burn things. Hearing police sirens, the man hid. Beth proposed a toast to Tom. Afterward, the guests watched a projector slideshow of funny moments from the family's life and their friends. It was time to serve the birthday cake. The guests began clapping, congratulating Tom on his birthday. He asked his best friend Adam to give a toast. They had known each other for 32 years, and Adam said that throughout this time, he had only known Tom as a good person. The doorbell rang. Beth never expected to see police officers on the doorstep. Tom Fairchild was arrested right in front of all the guests on suspicion of taking the life of Katie Asquith. Tom denied his involvement. His lawyer Maxwell was present and insisted that Tom should not be questioned in such a state. Detective Edgeworth assured that Tom would be given time to sober up before any questioning. The police also had a warrant to search the house. Obviously the party was over. Adam offered for Beth and her daughter Poppy to stay at his place. Beth still couldn't believe this was happening. But she tried to stay composed for the sake of the family's reputation. While the police continued their search, Beth took the daughter out of here. She was certain of the husband's innocence because he was a doctor, and his calling was to help people. Adam also had a daughter, Jess. Beth thanked him for his hospitality. Both of them were convinced that the police had made a mistake. It all seemed like a huge misunderstanding since Tom had never hurt anyone. Beth couldn't sleep and found an article online about Katie's demise. In the morning, Beth pulled herself together. Adam brought her breakfast. He didn't mind her taking his late wife's things at all. Beth was going to go to the police station. Adam wanted to accompany her, but she assured him it wasn't necessary. On the street, Beth caught the stares of the neighbors. But she held her head high, convincing everyone that it was just a misunderstanding and that Tom would be released soon. Beth, who owns a cafe, couldn't afford for her business to stall. Libby, the baker, tried to support her. Beth knew that all the clients were gossiping about her. She received a call from Tom's lawyer, Maxwell, who said that the police were refusing to share any information. It was still unclear what evidence they had against Tom. The good news was that Tom had provided DNA samples, so if he was innocent, he would be released soon. This didn't bring Beth much comfort. Libby advised her to go home and rest. Beth could no longer stand everyone staring at her. The Katie Asquith case had gained widespread media attention. On top of that, someone had posted a video from the scene online. Walking home along the street, Beth tried to ignore the comments from passers-by. At home after the police search, everything was turned upside down. While tidying up, Beth found her husband's membership card for an exclusive private club and tore it up. Among the letters, Beth also found a lawsuit for the wrongful dismissal of Miss Asquith. Beth realized the husband had been hiding something from her. The emails between Tom and Maxwell confirmed this. Tom claimed to the lawyer that Katie was slandering him and didn't want his wife to know. The doorbell rang. It was their neighbor, Jules, who came to support Beth. But she was angry at Jules for leaking the video of Tom's arrest online. Jules believed she had done the right thing. Only this way could the public see the police misconduct because in her opinion, Tom was innocent. Beth walked Jules out, promising to call later. The conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Clover, Beth's mother, whom she is ashamed of. Clover knew nothing about Tom's arrest and lamented about not being invited to his birthday. Beth knew the mother only wanted money from her, because in the past she had always visited for that reason. This time was no exception. Beth was about to write her mother a check when she found a flash drive shaped like a pen in the husband's office. Since Beth's laptop had been seized by the police, she used the mother's old laptop. The flash drive contained indecent videos. Beth handed the mother the check, refusing her offer to stay and help clean up the house. Beth despised her mother, who had lived off handouts her entire life. Finally Tom called. Barely holding back her emotions, Beth mentioned the letter from the court, and he immediately changed the subject. Tom wanted her to say that on Monday, the day of the crime, he had been home all night. This made Beth nervous. Clover guessed that Tom wasn't at work. Before she left, she asked the daughter to contact her if needed. Tom became the prime suspect in the taking of 26-year-old Katie Asquith's life. Tests had revealed traces of illegal substances in her system. No DNA had been found at the crime scene. Beth arrived at the police station. She was angry with Maxwell for hiding the lawsuit involving Katie's dismissal from her. Detectives Edgeworth and Pearson interrogated Beth, asking her to recount how she met Tom. Beth said it had happened at a bar in London 6 years ago. She described their marriage as happy, but the detectives didn't believe the sincerity of her words. When asked if her husband had ever been violent toward anyone, Beth firmly answered no. When the detectives showed her a ring with the initials TF, found at the crime scene, Beth confirmed it belonged to Tom. According to her, Tom had lost the ring a long time ago. The detectives found this explanation amusing. Beth insisted that Katie might have stolen the ring from Tom as revenge for her dismissal. She lied to the police that she had known all along about the conflict between Tom and Katie that had led to the lawsuit. The detectives wanted to know Beth's version of what happened on May 15. She claimed that Tom had been home with her and their daughter all evening. Detective Edgeworth hinted that giving false testimony was a crime. Beth assured that she had been honest in everything. Before letting Beth go, Detective Edgeworth asked if she or her husband had known Allison Mayhew. Beth replied no. The police had no more leads. In the next scene, we see Libby find emerald earrings in a drawer and think it's a surprise from her boyfriend Ollie. Finally Beth was allowed to see the husband. She wanted to know why he hadn't told her about the lawsuit with Katie. Beth also mentioned the video on the flash drive. Tom said it didn't matter now. According to him, Katie had been an addict, which is why he had fired her. Now as husband and wife, they needed to be on the same side. Despite her resentment, Beth supported the husband in this. Due to a lack of evidence, Tom was released from custody and returned home. No one knew that the circumstances of the couple's meeting were quite different from the usual chance encounter at a bar. The superiors were disappointed in Edgeworth's incompetence. But she was still convinced that Tom was guilty. At night, Beth couldn't sleep and discovered a hidden stash in the husband's office, where she found a second phone containing evidence of Tom's numerous affairs, including with Katie Asquith. Hearing the husband's voice, Beth got scared and dropped the phone, shattering the screen. She pretended that everything was fine. Right now Beth's only priority is her daughter. She cannot allow Tom's tarnished reputation to ruin their perfect life. A small memorial was held outside Dr. Fairchild's clinic in Katie's honor. Tom announced to the staff that he was fully cooperating with the police to help with the investigation. He also suggested raising money for Katie's family. Beth came to the clinic to offer support to Katie's former colleagues. Everyone felt sorry for the girl, despite her secrecy and flings with various men, including married ones. At the cafe, Beth noticed Ollie's nervous behavior. Libby explained that he had known Katie since childhood, so her demise had been a shock to him. Still Beth found Ollie's behavior suspicious. Adam was happy that Beth stopped by. Since he was tech savvy, she handed him Tom's second phone, lying that it was hers, and asked him to fix it. Soon it would be Jess's, Adam's daughter's birthday, and they agreed to celebrate it at the Fairchild's house. Beth stated that she knew about Tom's affairs. She bluffed, claiming that Tom had confessed. Adam confirmed everything. He had repeatedly told Tom it was wrong, but it was no use. Of course this was a big blow to Beth's pride. Nevertheless, she tried to keep her emotions in check. The most important thing was that Tom wasn't the criminal the police were looking for. Detective Edgeworth was informed that Allison Mayhew had been found alive and well. She had simply wanted freedom and ran away with another lover. Edgeworth was determined to see the investigation through and contacted Mr. Alderton, who had called the police station several times. Mr. Alderton's daughter, Phoebe, had been Tom's girlfriend. They were dating shortly before she perished. It was supposedly a robbery, but Mr. Alderton didn't believe it. When Tom returned home, the wife made it clear that she knew about his affairs. Tom began to make excuses. Now he wanted to know where his second phone was. Beth said he could forget about it. Tom reminded his wife, who provided her with a luxurious life. It would be a shame if she lost everything because of her silly suspicions. Beth decided to visit her mother, who lived a nomadic lifestyle. As soon as she fixed her van, she was planning to leave. However, Beth found no understanding from her mother, who had never liked Tom. Beth only wanted to protect her daughter, which meant that the family's overall well-being had to be the priority. It was hard for her to grow up with the constant moving around. Clover said it was better than living with her tyrant father. But Beth didn't want to talk about him. She hated her childhood, money was always scarce, and her mother drank all the time. For Clover, it had been tough being a single mother, but she had done the best she could. After giving her mother more money, Beth simply left. Later, she saw Ollie with some shady people. It looked like he was selling something to them. At the cafe, Beth noticed Libby's new earrings. She said they were a gift from Ollie. Detective Edgeworth believed that Phoebe Alderton, who perished 6 years ago, might be connected to this case. At the time, the police ruled it an unsuccessful robbery. The culprit was never found. Katie's bag was also missing. What connected the two girls was that they both knew Dr. Fairchild. Edgeworth felt that Tom was guilty. If a third victim appeared, it would mean the police were dealing with a serial criminal. Tom cooked dinner and left Poppy at Adam's, hoping to reconcile with his wife. He was genuinely ashamed. The mere thought of losing his family was unbearable for Tom, and he was ready to change. Beth decided to give her husband a chance. Since Poppy's birth, the couple's life had revolved around her, and the old passion between them had disappeared. Tom was willing to go to therapy to work on himself. But without his beloved wife, he wouldn't make it. It was not easy for Beth to forgive her husband. As Beth picked up a newspaper with Katie's photo on the front page, she noticed something. During a bike ride, Tom told Adam that from now on, he would be faithful to his wife. Later, they were just walking. Maxwell mentioned that the police had almost no leads on Katie's case, but they continued to suspect Tom. Beth wanted to forget everything like a bad dream. Later, she decided to visit Libby and tell her that she had recently seen Ollie in suspicious company. It seems like he is dealing substances. Libby knew her fiancé had been involved in such things before. She thought she had pulled Ollie out of the bottom, but was that really the case? Beth showed Libby the newspaper with Katie's photo, where she was wearing the same earrings that Ollie had given his fiancé. The women held hands. Ollie walked in, and from the tense silence, he knew immediately that something was wrong. Libby told him that she was aware he had lost his job. Ollie claimed he just didn't want to upset her before the wedding. When Libby mentioned Katie's earrings, Ollie shoved her and rushed out. Detective Edgeworth visited Mr. Alderton, who gave the police some of Phoebe's belongings. Now the man only wanted justice for his daughter. The detective couldn't help but be surprised when she learned that Beth wanted an urgent meeting with her. Libby was heartbroken, but she knew she had to tell the police everything. Beth was there to support her. Detective Edgeworth was ready to listen to them. That evening, Beth told her husband that Ollie had become the prime suspect. For Tom, this was good news. Moreover, he was proud of his wife for helping the police find the real criminal. Beth said she did it for their marriage. She wants the husband to keep nothing from her from now on. Passion sparked between them. Ollie became the perfect suspect because he had previously come to the police's attention. There was also evidence placing him at the crime scene. Today was Jess, Adam's daughter's birthday. As planned, they celebrated at the Fairchild's house. Some guests were unhappy that Beth had invited the fiancé of the prime suspect. However, Beth didn't care about prejudice. She was ready to support Libby in every way possible. Adam was grateful to his friends for the party and the gifts. Beth, the perfect housewife, knew how to please the guests. While everyone was celebrating in the yard, Ollie, whom the police had yet to find, came to the Fairchild's house to talk to his beloved. He insisted that he hadn't hurt anyone and was just trying to make money for a lavish wedding. Libby tearfully said there would be no wedding. Ollie begged her to change her mind. This commotion attracted everyone's attention. Tom and Adam tried to grab Ollie, but he started to resist. Detective Edgeworth learned that the card found among Phoebe's belongings was a membership card for an illegal nightclub called The Safe. Meanwhile, Beth and Tom searched for the escaped Ollie while waiting for the police to arrive. Tom didn't think it was a good idea to continue without the police, but Beth felt guilty toward Libby and feared Ollie would do something reckless. Beth spotted Ollie on the pier and followed him. Suddenly Ollie sneaked up behind her and grabbed her. Hearing his wife's screams, Tom ran toward them. The police arrived. The detective tried to convince Ollie to let Beth go. He kept repeating that he was innocent. That morning, Ollie was supposed to meet Katie to sell her substances, but when he arrived, she was already lifeless on the beach. Ollie decided to take advantage of the situation and rob Katie. After that, Ollie claimed he saw Tom near the beach. One of the police officers managed to neutralize Ollie with a taser. He hit his head hard and passed away on the spot. Many years ago, Beth became a member of the private safe club, where she met her future husband. In the present, Beth gave her statement to the police. After Ollie's attack, she was very frightened. When asked if she knew Phoebe Alderton, Beth replied that she was hearing the name for the first time. Edgeworth's superiors asked her to stop digging because the case was closed. Ollie had a motive, and Phoebe had nothing to do with it. However, Edgeworth feels that this isn't the end. It seemed like everyone could exhale a sigh of relief, but Beth couldn't pretend that nothing had happened. She started to suspect that Ollie truly wasn't guilty. Beth also knows for sure that the husband wasn't home the night of the crime. If he doesn't tell her the truth, Beth threatened to go to the police. Tom admitted that on that morning, he did indeed go jogging near the beach. He didn't tell the police because it would have become solid evidence against him. Beth is still determined to go to the police. Tom reminded his wife about her false testimony when she provided him with an alibi. By the way, Tom plans to follow in his mother's footsteps and become the principal of the local school. For his reputation, Beth has to play the role of the perfect wife. Edgeworth couldn't get Phoebe's unsolved case out of her mind. She met with her good friend, Hida, who frequents clubs and knows many DJs. Edgeworth hadn't managed to find out anything about that private club, so she hoped Hida could help. Beth met with Adam and asked him if Tom was a good liar. By the way, Beth had also lied when she told the detective she didn't know Phoebe. In fact, she had met her in the same private club where she met Tom. Phoebe had been a lover to both Tom and Beth. The three of them had fun together, but after a few months Phoebe disappeared. Adam didn't know these details, but he promised to keep it all secret. Hida managed to find out that the owner of the club is Annika Kovalenko. Edgeworth tracked her down and asked if she had heard of the safe. Kovalenko said it was just an urban legend. The detective made it clear that she wasn't leaving until she got the list of all the club members. Kovalenko eventually confessed that the parties took place once a month in various locations. She was ready to provide the list of members. Later, Edgeworth shared her findings with her colleague, Mike Pearson. Even after Tom was cleared of suspicion, Beth continued to draw public attention. Her business began to flourish. Clover wanted to spend as much time with the daughter as possible because soon her van would be fixed, and she would be leaving. Libby lost sleep, blaming herself and Beth for Ollie's demise. She believed that her fiancé couldn't have harmed anyone and that the real criminal was getting away with it. Deep down Beth thought the same, though she wouldn't admit it. Libby quit and left. After the shift, someone began throwing raw eggs at the cafe, which infuriated Clover. Beth made her calm down. Clover tried to explain to the daughter that even if she cleaned up all the mess in her life, nothing would be the same. They had another argument. Beth blamed the mother for her bad childhood, while Clover insisted that the constant moving had been necessary to keep her abusive husband from finding them. In the end, Clover left. At home, Tom asked his wife if she had given an interview to journalists, because all their dirty past had become public. Beth in tears claimed she hadn't told anyone anything. But Tom didn't believe her because there was simply no one else. However, it didn't matter now. They had to keep their faces, or it would be the end for them. Beth isn't sure she can handle it, though she has no choice. She is obligated to live up to her husband's famous surname, as he is soon to become the school principal. If they don't make public appearances, everyone will assume they have something to hide, and it will only get worse. Hida informed Edgeworth that she reviewed the list of club members. Among them, there is only one missing girl, but she has no connection to Dr. Fairchild. The problem is that half of the names on the list are fake. The Fairchilds made an appearance at the school, hearing the gossip about themselves. Adam came to support them. He also had a small gift for Beth, the repaired phone. In the restroom, she let her emotions out and cried. Suddenly sitting in the stall, she overheard gossip about herself. On the one hand, women admired her for finding the strength to appear in public, but on the other hand they condemned her. Beth kept her cool, responding to the insults with dignity. In the husband's spare phone, she found many inappropriate photos and videos. The school administration announced the new principal, Tim Holden, who unlike Tom was a decent guy. Tom clapped along with everyone, forcing a fake smile. Beth planned to go with Adam, claiming she had left Poppy's school uniform at his place, but her husband insisted they go home. At night, after the daughter and husband had fallen asleep, Beth went to Adam's house after all. He's the only one who can understand her. Only now did Beth realize how terrible her husband really was. She regretted providing Tom with an alibi for fear of losing everything. On one of the videos in Tom's phone, there was Marnie, Adam's late wife. He didn't want to believe that his best friend had betrayed him. Both he and Beth were puzzled as to why Tom left Marnie to die and why he filmed it. They embraced in tears. It was obvious that Tom and Marnie had an affair. Adam wanted to call the police, but Beth said she needed to get Poppy first. After that, Adam would take them somewhere safe. They didn't know that Tom had been watching them the whole time. Edgeworth and her colleague, Mike, arrived at the crime scene. She believed that Ollie wasn't the real criminal. Edgeworth showed Mike a photo of Ella, a third-year student at Durham University. Even though Tom had never been to Durham, he interned at Oxford Hospital around the time she disappeared. Ella had participated in the Oxford cycling race and was injured. She ended up in the hospital, where she could have met Fairchild. Edgeworth managed to obtain Tom's address in Oxford. Tom noticed that his wife looked tired and was avoiding him. He on the contrary wanted to spend more time with the family, seeking Beth's support during such a difficult period. To distract the husband, Beth asked him to take a box to the cafe. After speaking with the landlord, Mike learned what the police already knew. The only thing that raised suspicions was an old shed in the yard. Edgeworth knew her boss was against it, but she called him anyway and requested forensic experts in Oxford. A postman came to the Fairchild's house. Among the mail were some offensive letters. Tom unceremoniously entered Adam's house and hit him. Tom knew that Beth had been here the night before. While the police were searching the shed, the fight between Tom and Adam continued. Beth hurriedly packed up Poppy, but Tom's sudden return disrupted her plans. He took his second phone. In the backyard of the Oxford house, a forensic team was working. Remains were found near the shed. After seeing his wife at Adam's house the previous night, Tom had no doubt that she wanted to send him to prison. Beth in tears told her husband that she was aware he had taken Marnie's life. Adam intervened, and a fight broke out between them again. To save Adam, Beth grabbed a sharp object and wounded Tom. Despite this, he managed to escape and drive away. Beth and Adam followed him. As Adam began to pick up speed, Beth became anxious, but despite her pleas, he didn't stop. Suddenly Tom had an accident. The police and rescue team arrived at the scene. Tom was not found in the car. A year passed. Today is Beth and Adam's wedding day. The police attended the ceremony, suspecting that Tom might show up. By the way, Beth had reconciled with her mother. The detectives knew that Tom had recently been spotted in the area. As Beth walked down the aisle, she was very nervous. After the ceremony, the guests congratulated the newlyweds. Now Beth was also a mother to Jess. Adam noticed that something was bothering his wife. Beth said she was going to change because she couldn't dance in her dress. Beth noticed that the front door to their house was open. When she entered, someone crept up behind her. The day before, Beth had shared with her fiancé that she couldn't stop thinking about Tom. Adam promised that they would get through it together. He had already put his house up for sale and moved in with Beth. Maxwell, by the way, helped her finalize the divorce in absentia. Beth wanted to move to another house because everything here reminded her of Tom. And although Adam was against it, he promised to think about it. Later outside, Jules, who wasn't invited to the wedding, approached Beth. But this time Jules was acting with the best of intentions. She knew a secret about Tom and believed that Beth had the right to know the truth. In fact, Tom is Poppy's biological father, but Adam doesn't know. At home, Beth tried to make sense of what she had heard. Clover immediately sensed that something was wrong. Beth vaguely replied that her second marriage wasn't easy for her. Seeking comfort, Beth went to church. She was about to call Adam, but the appearance of a stranger interrupted her. This stranger turned out to be Tom, who grabbed Beth. He didn't intend to harm her, only to talk. Tom assured her that he was innocent of all the crimes and that he had proof. The video of Marnie showed up a day after his arrest, meaning someone else uploaded it. But without Beth's help, Tom wouldn't be able to prove it. First, Beth searched through Adam's things, then went to his house, which was up for sale. There, Beth found a suspicious box and broke the lock. Inside was a laptop, a locked casket and an album with photos of Tom. Could Adam have been obsessed with him? When Beth turned on the laptop, she found the full version of the video with Marnie. It was actually Adam who'd taken her life after learning about her affair with Tom. Barely holding herself together, Beth broke open the casket, which contained a DNA test. It turns out Adam knew that Jess wasn't his biological daughter. In addition to this, Beth found an album with numerous photos of lifeless women. At that moment, Beth realized with horror that Adam was the serial criminal the police had been searching for all this time. Shocked, Beth was on the verge of a panic attack. But then, pulling herself together, she returned home. The wedding day had arrived. Beth was trying to act as if nothing had happened. In the present, Adam found his wife sleeping on the living room couch and woke her up, offering breakfast. So far, Adam was playing the role of a caring husband perfectly. While Adam was making breakfast in the kitchen, Beth texted Tom, asking to meet. Adam was upset when the wife said she was heading to work at her cafe on their day off. In reality, it was just an excuse to meet Tom. Adam watched from the window as his wife left. Tom was already waiting at the agreed location. Seeing the police, he ran, but all escape routes were cut off. Tom was captured and arrested. Detective Edgeworth was sure that their criminal had been caught. Without meeting Tom, Beth returned home. Adam accused her of lying. There was no point in hiding that she had spoken to Tom. Beth assured that she was the one who had tipped off the police. Adam promised his wife that from now on, they would live without looking back at the past. Tom tried calling Beth from the police station, but she ignored his calls. Beth and Adam walked near the beach. Now that Tom was behind bars, they could be at peace. Adam said that everyone had always loved Tom, and that's why all those women who were crazy about him ended up dead. At that moment, Beth revealed that she knew the truth and pushed Adam off the cliff. The fall was fatal for him. Thus Beth became a widow the day after the wedding. Colleagues congratulated Edgeworth on the successful conclusion of the investigation. She knows that the tip-off came from an anonymous woman, and it worries her. Edgeworth reflected once more on all the available evidence. Shortly before, she had visited the private club and questioned Annika about Dr. Fairchild's wife. Beth is pleased with herself. She managed to get rid of both of her husbands. Beth came to visit Tom in jail. Without a lawyer and without bail, he is in a very difficult situation. Beth revealed that Adam is the true criminal, and she has irrefutable evidence. But Beth does not intend to tell the police, believing that her ex-husband is a bad person and got what he deserved. Before turning Tom over to the police, Beth destroyed all the evidence. Tom foolishly trusted the ex-wife and gave her his phone on the day of her wedding. Now Beth has 2 daughters, and she does not want them to grow up with a father like that. Tom begged Beth not to leave him, but she cynically walked away. Beth returned home with a feeling of immense relief. All the property of both ex-husbands now belongs to her. Life begins with a clean slate. After calling the police, Beth reported Adam as missing. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.